Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Bahimam. Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Bahimam. So reading from Krishna book, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Deliverance of Lord Shiva, and that's chapter 87.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
The Supreme Lord descends to this material world just to protect his devotees from distress. In other words, if devotees were not in a distressed condition, the Lord would not have come down. As for his killing the demons or miscreants, this can be easily done by his various energies. Just as many asuras are killed by his external energy, goddess Durga. Therefore, the Lord does not need to come down personally to kill such demons. But when his devotee is in distress, he must come. Lord Nrsimha appeared not just to kill Hiranyakashipu, but to see Prahlad and to give him blessings. In other words, because Prahlad Maharaj was put into very great distress, the Lord appeared. When after the dense dark night there is finally sunrise in the morning, it is very pleasant. When there is scorching heat, cold water is very pleasant. And when there is freezing winter, hot water is very pleasant. Similarly, when a devotee, after experiencing the condition of the material world, relishes the spiritual happiness awarded by the Lord, his position is still more pleasant and enjoyable. The Lord continued, when my devotee is bereft of all material riches and is deserted by his relatives, friends and family members, because he has no one to look after him, he completely takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Srila Nrsimha Thakur has sung in this connection, my dear Lord Krishna, O son of Nanda Maharaj, you are now standing before me, Vishwamata Radharani, the daughter of King Rishabhanu. I am now surrendering unto you. Please accept me. Please do not kick me away. I have no shelter other than you. When a devotee is thus put into so-called miserable conditions and bereft of riches and family, he tries to revive his original position of material opulence. But although he tries again and again, Krishna again and again takes away all his resources. Thus he finally becomes disappointed in material activities And in that stage of frustration in all endeavours, he can fully surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such persons are advised by the Lord from within to associate with devotees. By associating with devotees, they naturally become inclined to render service to the Personality of Godhead. And they immediately get all facilities from the Lord to advance in Krishna consciousness. The non-devotees, however, are very careful about preserving their material condition of life. Generally, therefore, such non-devotees do not come to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but worship
Lord Shiva or other demigods for immediate material profit. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, therefore, Kankshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta ihatevata. The karmis, in order to achieve success within this material world, worship the various demigods. It is also stated by Lord Krishna that those who worship the demigods are not mature in their intelligence. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore, because of their strong attachment for Him, do not foolishly go to the demigods. Lord Krishna said to King Yudhishthir, my devotee is not deterred by any adverse conditions of life. He always remains firm and steady. Therefore I give myself to him, and I favor him so that he can achieve the highest success of life. The mercy bestowed upon the tried devotee by the Supreme Personality is described as Brahman, which indicates that the greatness of that mercy can be compared only to the all-pervasive greatness. Brahman means unlimitedly great and unlimitedly expanding. That mercy is also described as Parama, for it has no comparison within this material world, and it is also called Sukshmam, very fine. Not only is the Lord's mercy upon the tried devotee great and unlimitedly expansive, but it is of the finest quality of transcendental love between the devotee and the Lord. Such mercy is further described as Chinmatram, completely spiritual. The use of the word matram indicates absolute spirituality, with no tinge of material qualities. That mercy is also called Sat, eternal, and Anantakam, unlimited. Since the devotee of the Lord is awarded such unlimited spiritual benefit, why should he worship the demigods? A devotee of Krishna does not worship Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma or any other subordinate demigod. He completely devotes himself to the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shukadeva Goswami continued, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and including Lord Indra, Chandra, Varuna and others, are apt to be very quickly satisfied and very quickly angered by the good and ill behavior of their devotees. But this is not so with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. This means that any living entity within this material world, including the demigods, is conducted by the three modes of material nature, and therefore the qualities of ignorance and passion are very prominent within the material world. Those devotees who take blessings from the demigods are also infected with the material qualities, especially passion and ignorance. Lord Shri Krishna has therefore stated in the Bhagavad Gita that to take
within Bhagavad Gita, where are we?
To take.
Usually
we're here.
No, yeah.
To take.
So it says person. I think we got the wrong page here. So you flicked over 2 pages probably.
Oh. Holy cow. To take.
It's all happening.
To take. You can continue to the next page from here to the next.
Oh, I got you. Oh, I got you. I thought you meant to take. Okay. To take blessings. Misunderstanding there, don't we? And from the demigods is less intelligent because when one takes benedictions from the demigods, the results of such benedictions are temporary. It is easy to get material opulence by worshipping the demigods. The result is sometimes disastrous. As such, the benedictions derived from demigods are appreciated by the less intelligent class of men. Persons who derive benedictions from the demigods gradually become puffed up with material opulences and neglectful of their benefactors. Sukadev Goswami addressed King Parikshit thus: "My dear king, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, the principal trio of the material creation, are able to bless or curse anyone. Of this trio, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are very easily satisfied, but also very easily angered. When satisfied, they give benedictions without consideration, and when angry, they curse the devotee without consideration. But Lord Vishnu is not like that. Lord Vishnu is very considerate. Whenever a devotee wants something from Lord Vishnu first considers whether such a benediction will ultimately be good for the devotee. Lord Vishnu never bestows any benediction which will ultimately prove disastrous to the devotee. By his transcendental nature, he is always merciful, and therefore, before giving any benediction, he considers whether it will prove beneficial for the devotee. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always merciful, even when it appears that he has killed a demon, or even when he apparently becomes angry towards the devotee, his actions are always auspicious. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is therefore known as all good. Whatever he does is good. As for the benedictions given by demigods like Lord Shiva, there is the following historical incident cited by great sages. Once Lord Shiva, after giving a benediction to a demon named Vrikashura, the son of Sakuni, was himself entrapped in a very dangerous position. Vrikashura was searching after a benediction and trying to decide which of the three presiding deities to worship in order to get it. In the meantime, he happened to meet the great sage Narada and consulted him as to whom he should approach to achieve quick results from his austerity. He inquired, "Of the three deities, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, who is most quickly satisfied?" Narada could understand the plan of the demon, and he advised him, "You had better worship Lord Shiva, then you will quickly get the desired result. Lord Shiva is very quickly satisfied and very quickly dissatisfied also. So you try to..."
You try to satisfy Lord Shiva. Narada also cited instances wherein demons like Ravana and Banasura were enriched with great opulences simply by satisfying Lord Shiva with prayers. Because the great sage Narada was aware of the nature of the demon Vrikasura, he did not advise him to approach Vishnu or Lord Brahma. Persons such as Vrikasura, who are situated in the material mode of ignorance, cannot stick to the worship of Vishnu. After receiving instruction from Narada, the demon Vrikasura went to Kedarnath. The pilgrimage site of Kedarnath still exists near Kashmir. It is almost always covered by snow, but for part of the year, during the month of July, it is possible to see the deity, and devotees go there to offer their respects. Kedarnath is for the devotees of Lord Shiva. According to the Vedic principle, when something is offered to the deities to eat, it is offered in a fire. Therefore, a fire sacrifice is necessary in all sorts of ceremonies. It is specifically stated in the Shastras that gods are to be offered something to eat through the fire. The demon Vrikasura therefore went to Kedarnath and ignited a sacrificial fire to please Lord Shiva. After igniting the fire in the name of Shiva, he began to offer his own flesh by cutting it from his body to please Lord Shiva. Here is an instance of worship in the mode of ignorance. In the Bhagavad Gita, different types of sacrifice are mentioned. Some sacrifices are in the mode of goodness, Some are in the mode of passion and some are in the mode of ignorance. They are different kinds of tapasya and worship because there are different kinds of people within this world. But the ultimate tapasya, Krishna consciousness, is the topmost yoga and the topmost sacrifice. The ultimate tapasya is Krishna consciousness. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, the topmost yoga is to think always of Lord Krishna within the heart, and the topmost sacrifice is to perform the Sankirtan Yagya. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the worshippers of the demigods have lost their intelligence. As revealed later in this chapter, Vrikasura wanted to satisfy Lord Shiva for a third-class materialistic objective, which was temporary and without real benefit. The asuras or persons within the mode of ignorance will accept such benedictions from the demigods. In complete contrast to this sacrifice in the mode of ignorance, the Archana Vidhi process for worshipping Lord Vishnu or Krishna is very simple. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that he accepts from his devotee even a little fruit, a flower, or some water, which can be gathered by any person.
Rich or poor. Of course, those who are rich are not expected to offer only a little water, a little piece of fruit, or a little leaf to the Lord. A rich man should offer according to his position. But if the devotee happens to be a very poor man, the Lord will accept even the most meagre offering. The worship of Lord Vishnu or Krishna is very simple, and it can be executed by anyone in this world. But worship in the mode of ignorance, as exhibited by Vrikasura, is not only very difficult and painful, but is also a useless waste of time. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita says that worshippers of the demigods are bereft of intelligence. Their process of worship is very difficult, and at the same time the result obtained is flickering and temporary. Although Vrikasura continued his sacrifice for 6 days, he was unable to personally see Lord Shiva, which was his objective. He wanted to see him face to face and ask him for a benediction. Here is another contrast between a demon and a devotee. A devotee is confident that whatever he offers to the deity, whatever he offers to the deity in full devotional service is accepted by the Lord. I just thought I'd say that.
So where's the problem?
No, there's no problem. I'll talk about it later. I'll mention it later.
Top secret. Yeah.
Top secret, yeah. Yes. Topic, top secret. Yeah. But a demon wants to see his worshipful deity face to face so he can directly take the benediction. A devotee does not worship Vishnu or Lord Krishna for any benediction. Therefore, a devotee is called akama, or free of desire, and a non-devotee is called sarvakama, or desirous of everything. On the 7th day, the demon Vrikasura decided that he should cut off his head and offer it to satisfy Lord Shiva. Thus he took a bath in the nearby lake, and without drying his body and hair, he prepared to cut off his head. According to the Vedic system, an animal to be offered as a sacrifice has to be bathed first, and while the animal is wet, it is sacrificed. When the demon was just preparing to cut off his head, Lord Shiva became very compassionate. This compassion is a symptom of the quality of goodness. Lord Shiva is called Trilinga. Therefore, his manifestation of the nature of compassion is a sign of the quality of goodness. This compassion, however, is present in every living entity. The compassion of Lord Shiva was aroused because the demon was offering his flesh to the sacrificial fire. This is natural compassion. Even if a common man sees someone preparing to commit suicide, it is his duty to try to save him. He does so automatically. There is no need to appeal to him. Therefore, when Lord Shiva appeared from the fire to check the demon from suicide, it was not as a very great favour to him. Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva's touch saved the demon from committing suicide. His bodily injuries immediately healed, and his body became as it was before. Then Lord Shiva told the demon, "My dear Vrikasura, you do not need to cut off your head. You may ask from me any benediction you like, and I shall fulfill your desire. I do not know why you wanted to cut off your head to satisfy me. I become satisfied even by an offering of a little water. Actually, according to the Vedic process, the Shivalinga in the temple or the form of Lord Shiva in the temple is worshipped simply by offering Ganges water. Because it is said that Lord Shiva is greatly satisfied when Ganges water is poured upon his head. Generally, devotees offer Ganges water and the leaves of the Bilva tree, which are especially meant for offering to Lord Shiva, and the Kajasturga. The fruit of this tree also is offered to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva assured Rikasura that he is satisfied by a very simple process of worship. Why then was he so anxious to cut off his head? And why was he taking so much pain by cutting his body to pieces and offering it in the fire? There was no need of such severe penances. Anyway, out of compassion and sympathy, Lord Shiva prepared to give him any benediction he liked. When the demon was offered this facility by Lord Shiva, he asked for a fearful and abominable benediction. The demon was very sinful, and sinful persons do not know what sort of benediction should be asked from the deity. Therefore, he asked Lord Shiva to be blessed with such power that as soon as he would touch anyone's head, it would immediately crack and the man would die. The demons are described in the Bhagavad Gita as Dushkritis, or miscreants. Kriti means very meritorious, but when Tush is added, it means abominable. Instead of surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Dushkritis worship different demigods to derive abominable material benefits. Sometimes such demons as material scientists discover lethal weapons. They cannot show their meritorious power by discovering something which can save man from death. Instead, they discover weapons which accelerate the process of death. Because Lord Shiva is powerful enough to give any benediction, the demon could have asked of him something beneficial for human society. But for his personal interest, he asked that anyone whose head would be touched by his hand would at once die. Lord Shiva could understand the motive of the demon, and he
was very sorry that he had assured him that whatever benediction he liked, he would not withdraw his promise. But he was very sorry in his heart that he was to offer him a benediction so dangerous to human society. The demons are described as duskritis, miscreants, because although they have brain power and merit, the merit and brain power are used for abominable activities. Sometimes, for example, the materialistic demons discover a lethal weapon. Scientific research for such a discovery certainly requires a very good brain, but instead of discovering something beneficial to human society, they discover something to accelerate the death, which is always assured to every man. Similarly, Vrikasura, instead of asking Lord Shiva for something beneficial to human society, asked for something very dangerous to human society. Therefore, Lord Shiva felt sorry within himself. Devotees of the personality of Godhead, however, never ask any benediction from Lord Vishnu or Krishna. And even if they ask something from the Lord, it is not at all dangerous for human society. That is the difference between the demons and the devotees, or the worshippers of Lord Shiva and the worshippers of Lord Vishnu.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe it probably might be.
Okay, something. While Shukadeva Goswami was narrating the history of Vrikasura, he addressed Maharaj Parikshit as Bharata, referring to King Parikshit's birth in a family of devotees. Maharaj Parikshit was saved by Lord Krishna while in his mother's womb. Similarly, he could have asked Lord Krishna to save him from the curse of the Brahmana, but he did not do so. The demon, however, wanted to become immortal by killing everyone with a touch of his hand. Lord Shiva could understand this, but because he had promised, he gave him the benediction. The demon, however, being very sinful, immediately decided that he would use the benediction to kill Lord Shiva and take away Gauri, Parvati, for his personal enjoyment. He immediately decided to place his hand on the head of Lord Shiva. Thus Lord Shiva was put into an awkward position because he was endangered by his own benediction to a demon. This is also another instance of a materialistic devotees misusing the power derived from the demigods. Without further deliberation, the demon Rikasura immediately approached Lord Shiva to place his hand on Lord Shiva's head. Lord Shiva was afraid of him. Lord Shiva was so afraid of him that his body trembled, and he fled from the land to the sky, and from the sky to other planets, until he reached the limits of the universe, above the higher planetary systems. Lord Shiva fled from one place to another, but the demon Rikasura continued to chase him. The predominating deities of other planets such as Brahma, Indra and Chandra could not find any way to save Lord Shiva from the impending danger. Wherever Lord Shiva went, they remained silent. At last, Lord Shiva approached Lord Vishnu, who is situated within the universe in the planet known as Shvetadvip. Shvetadvip is the local Vaikuntha planet, beyond the jurisdiction of the influence of external energy. Lord Vishnu, in his all-pervasive feature, remains everywhere, but wherever he remains personally is the Vaikuntha atmosphere. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the Lord remains within the heart of all living entities. As such, the Lord remains within the heart of many low-born living entities, but that does not mean that he is low-born. Wherever he remains is transformed into Vaikuntha. So the planet within this universe known as Shvetadvip is also Vaikuntha Loka. It is said in the Shastras that residential quarters within the forests are in the mode of goodness. Residential quarters in big cities, towns and villages are in the mode of passion, and residential quarters in an atmosphere wherein indulgence in the four sinful activities of illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating and gambling predominate are in a mode of ignorance. But residential quarters in a temple of Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, are in Vaikuntha. It doesn't matter where the temple is situated. The temple itself, wherever it may be, is Vaikuntha. Similarly, the Shvetadvip planet, although within the material jurisdiction, is Vaikuntha. Lord Shiva finally entered Shvetadvip, Vaikuntha. In Shvetadvip, there are great saintly persons who are completely freed from the envious nature of the material world and are beyond the jurisdiction of the four principles of material activity, namely religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Anyone who enters into that Vaikuntha planet never returns to this material world. Lord Narayana is celebrated as a lover of his devotees, and as soon as he understood that Lord Shiva was in a great danger, he appeared as a brahmachari and personally approached Lord Shiva to receive him from a distant place. The Lord appeared as a perfect brahmachari with a belt around his waist, a sacred thread, a deerskin, a brahmachari stick, and the rudra beads. Rudra beads are different from tulsi beads. Rudra beads are used by the devotees of Lord Shiva. So, our time is up today. Yes, it is so wonderful to fill our consciousness, our thoughts, with thoughts of Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's devotees, Krishna's opulences like his beauty, his strength, Krishna's knowledge, and Krishna's opulences, and Krishna's renunciation. Yes. So, thank you very much for joining. Panchatattva ki jai, and hope to see you tomorrow. Hare